this is what I hope is the last prototype board I'll build for the IV-25 flashlight, because it's all done now, and I'll show the board here and what I changed. I put, as I mentioned before, I put a TP4056 charger chip here with its programming resistor. The two status LEDs attached here. It's an open collector output, so this goes basically from VCC through the LEDs through this resistor. One is 1K, one is 330 ohms, because I'm going to have a red and a green LED, and the green LED just takes a bit more power. Yeah, this is all unchanged from the last version. I have the pull-ups for the VFD display here, 8.2K, the base resistors of 330 ohms here for the BC546 transistors. What I also did is on the top side, I put some filter capacitors next to the 7805. I forgot to do that before, so yeah, those are important. 7805 here, the microcontroller, the Atmega 85 is going to sit here. And already had that on the last version. Here's the resistor that's going to drive the main LED. Also on this daughter board here, this is a boost converter. This is a very well engineered module you get from AliExpress or eBay, or there's a billion versions of those, and they work fairly well, and they're just they're probably better than anything I could do myself here on a single-sided board. So I just use this as a little daughter board, set very tightly here and here. Oh, it's also attached here. I'm thinking of maybe putting some screws down here, but I'm not entirely sure. So why don't I show this thing in action? So here's my prototype. This is the same board minus the filter caps on the 7805. I put those on when I realized that I've forgotten them. And it's currently charging from a 5-volt supply coming in here into the 4056 charger chip. It doesn't show up very well on camera, but one of those LEDs is actually lit, the green one. No, it doesn't reflect too well on my hand either. But green one is currently on. Also the red one is dimly glimmering, which I think is just a thing that this chip does. Once the cell here is fully charged, it will go to a full power red, and you can actually see it very nicely. Yeah, also here's the crudely attached switch, which is, it's going to be that switch later on the bottom of the flashlight. And if I turn it on, you can see it's not fully charged. The VFD comes on, and also the LED here. So yeah, this is the prototype. And the next thing I want to show here is how I'm going to fit this all together. So I'm very nearly done. So these are the rest of the parts that I need to put this together. I made this end cap here. Let me just focus that. Which has a USB and the two charger LEDs on here. So just since this is an open collector output, the common pin for the LEDs is the VCC pin or 5-volt supply pin. This is completely independent of the power supply for the LED and the VFD display for a variety of reasons. First of all, these LEDs only need to be on when it's charging, so the 5-volt power supply is available then. and also the rest of the flashlight runs off a boost converter, the micro and everything. Since I've got 2 in parallel, 1 in series battery in there, so the highest I have is 4.1 volt, and I run my logic on 5 volts. So I derive that actually from the boosted voltage. So it would just be unfeasible to run those off that supply, because that is off while it's charging. Also, I loomed this together so I can stick it on here. This threads in like this, and then just sort of friction fits on here. Probably assisted with some hot glue, but yeah, that's how it's going to fit. Yeah, this is all going to be the same color once this first prototype unit is working. That this is just, I just had that filament in the printer, so I used it. Yeah, for this, the switch down here actually comes up here and connects to the board. This is relatively thick wire, because this needs to transfer around 3 amps when the LED is running, because this is running up to the boost converter from the battery. And it attaches, I think, probably down here. So yeah, it attaches to the board. And these are the wires for the VFD that is friction fit in here. I need to, in the final version, I need to make this a bit wider because I snapped off a VFD fitting it in there. It's fairly tight. Those 2 are for the filament here, and these 3 are for the actual segments. They fit here next to the pull-ups, and I think, no, somewhere, oh yeah, here where the battery voltage is, once it's switched through from here. I changed this layout recently, so I have to actually look at the board file to see where I attached what, but that's not a problem in assembly, is it? The only thing that's missing from here is actually the, well, there's 2 things missing. There's the battery pack that I've got in my little project box over on the chair that's standing next to the table I'm working on. This battery pack is going to slide down in here like so, and I think I'm just going to put it there with a dab of hot glue so it doesn't go moving about. And then the other thing that's missing is the cob LED, and the cob is currently still attached to my prototype, but I'm going to use this cob. Yeah, and that's about it for that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble all of this off camera, and then I'll report back with the finished flashlight. So this is the project all assembled, with the diffuser cap and the end cap on, and the battery reading fairly low, but that's alright. I'm really happy with how this turned out. The diffuser cap just snap fits on, and I've got cob LED with a single standoff on here. And this circuit board sitting underneath like this. The battery pack is under here. I shrink wrapped it, so it doesn't, if you shake the flashlight, it doesn't touch anything and short out. Charger input is back here with the 2 LEDs that tell you if it's charged or not when you plug it in. It takes 5 volts at around an amp to charge. Yeah, that's about it. It has a you could change this cob. I have a warm white cob in there, And also due to the diffuser I have on there, it's got a really nice wide beam. It's also fairly bright, but it's really good for just illuminating a largest sort of area. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with how this turned out. I will put all the code and the schematic and the board files and all of that. I'll put that on GitHub and the STLs for 3D printing. And I'll also post the 3D printing files on Thingyverse. You can find links to both of those things in the video description. And yeah, stay tuned for more.